Oh, man, it's
Greeting, peace, and love, everybody. Welcome to the Eddie PPC podcast. I'm Brother Frank. I'm with former political prisoner.
Abdul Haq Islam.
Today's show, we continue our conversation about the release, the People Victory release, People Victory of Dr. Mutulu Shakur, being that he was granted parole. We don't want to take up his son's time because I know he got some other work that he has to do, especially in preparation for his father coming home. First and foremost, we want to thank those who have made that financial contribution to his father. And we salute you, Black Power, to that, doing what you said you was going to do. So without further ado, we have Brother Talib Shakur. Brother, peace. Thanks for tuning in.
Peace and love. What's happening down there?
Peace.
How y'all doing?
What's going on?
Thanks for having us.
Yes, appreciate you, man. So, you know, our platform is yours. We're exclusive to political prisoners. So let the people know what's going on with Dr. Mutulu and what they can do to help.
But first and foremost, I would like to thank all those that have, gave their hard-earned donations for my father. Thanks, Frank, for really pushing it that way. My father do not take none of that for granted. He truly appreciate all the support, the love, the unity that y'all have been pushing for him from the beginning all the way up until now. As we all know and the world knows, he should be released in a couple of weeks now, and the family is definitely looking forward for his safe return to society. He's still hard at work with acupuncture, helping the community. The youth, he's still building with them inside and outside of the penitentiary. It's just a great time right now to know that this great man, for all his sacrifices, he's going to come out and continue doing good work in our communities.
Oh, that's beautiful because with his work with acupuncture that was featured on Dope is Death, I always said that he should have been awarded a Nobel Peace Prize because that work has an impact on people, and I don't think he gets enough credit for that. And that's one thing that I know we have to start looking at. We have to reward our people, and we have to give them their flowers so they can smell them right now, and we have to salute him and make sure that when we talk about our freedom fighters and we talk about people who advance people and make life better, we have to include Dr. Mutulu Shakur and many like him.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the reasons why I'm putting together the documentary / mini-series. Hopefully it goes into a movie regarding my father, our travels, me finding out that he's my biological family, and how I am linked bloodline to my brothers, my sisters, Setra Shakur, Moprim Shakur, Tupac, Afeni, and you know the list goes on of all of our the Shakur legacy. For me to just come into the fold at this time is so much that I have to learn about my family, and they are so open to teach me and help me to have a smooth transition into the life of being a blood Shakur. You know, when I tell you they welcome me with open arms, is because my father said that he had a son out there, but he didn't know how to link up with him and stuff. So, you know, through the documentary in my book, you'll be able to see and read the travels on how all this transpired. So, you know, being that your Frank, you always been 10 toes down with me, I can share a little bit about that travel, you know. And the travel is that, you know, all my
brother.
uh
I said that's what we was gonna ask you about some of the memories.
oh yes,
Right
yes,
on,
yes,
right on.
please. And yeah, you always been straight ahead with me, Baba. You know, every time we linked up out there in New York, you know, you make sure you put something in my hand to give to my father or say that this is for me to him. And I still have those memorabilia, and I truly appreciate you, even down to the Muslim oils and stuff, you know. So yeah,
Yeah, brother.
yeah, alhamdulillah to all of that, you know. So all my life I was raised without my father, and I was being told that somebody else was my biological father, a man that I never seen or heard of a day in my life. So as time go on, years go on, people kept on saying to me like, "Yo, you look just like Gerald. You just look," you know. They were saying Mutulu's name before he became Dr. Mutulu Shakur, and then as time went on, you know,
you got them dreadlocks working. Got them dreadlocks working, yeah. You got them dreadlocks working just like Mutulu, yeah.
And that was funny. I was growing these before I even knew he was my father. So, you know, do the math to it. That's crazy. You know, this is like over 30 years long right here, you know, and I only knew he was my father about 4 or 5 years. So, you know, I guess it's in the genetics in some kind of way. So, as time went on, I kept getting frustrated on like, yo, why people just keep saying I look like this man, and I, you know, never seen a man before. So, you know, I went up north there over 16 years incarcerated, and when I came back, I was on a train, and this man with African garment was sitting a counter corner across from me, and he kept staring at me. And while he's staring at me, in my mind, I was like, man, if this dude stand up and start something, you know, it's going to be on in his train. So sure enough, I stood up, he stood up, and he was like maybe 3 feet away from me, and probably a little bit less than that. And he was like, excuse me, are you Dr. Mutulu Shakur's son? And in my mind, I said, here we go with this again. So I told him, sorry, sir, no, I don't know the man. So when I got off the train, I walked to the right, he walked to the left. Before I was about to go up on the platform, something told me to turn around. I turned around, this man is still standing in the middle of the platform, shaking his head, looking at me, right? So that's when I took it upon myself and said, man, that's it. I'm going to ask my mother the infamous question that I always wanted to ask. So when I went outside, I called her and I asked her, your mom, why I never met my father before? She said, you never met, and then she said the name that, you know, I was told was my father. And I was like, nah, have you ever introduced me to him? So she told me, he was just running around, I couldn't get up with him. I said, let me ask you the real question I want to ask you. I said, is it possible Dr. Mutulu Shakur is my biological father? She paused for a second and she said, yes, son, yes, that is your biological father. I'm sorry. Right? So now I made it upon myself to tell her, I was like, Mom, I'm not gonna stop until I find him now. This is his name, and boom. So now when I was like I was saying, I was on my way going to work. And when I got to the job, I asked the receptionist to look up this name and send it to my office. By the time I got to the office, she had the address and everything to where he was locked up at that time. So I wrote him a letter, but in the letter, I didn't tell him that he was my father. I was asking him, you know, about the people that he know. I was telling him about the people that I lived around and, next door neighbors and stuff. And, I gave him a little history of me and my family. Then at the end, I said, is it possible that you might be my biological father? Come to find out, he lived directly next door to me. Not down the block, not up the street, not around the corner. The house right next door. And this is the house that I was playing in, growing up, having sleepovers and all that, thinking that that's just my next door neighbors. Gonna find out that was Dr. Mutulu Shakur home where he lived with his mother, which is my grandmother, and aunts and stuff like that. So when I wrote him the letter, he answered back less than a week's time and told me like, wow, I finally found my son. I'm never gonna lose contact with you again. Here's your family names and numbers. So on the first on the list was Afeni Shakur. Next on the list was Sekou Shakur, Moprim Shakur, and the list went on. Even Charles Barron was on that list, and Inez Barron, they was on that list. So the list went on and on. So that was my initial connection on finding out that he is my biological father. Now, after that, him and I stayed in close contact, phone calls, visit him. I don't know how many amount of times, we stayed in close contact until up to now. Beautiful. He might be hitting me up while we're on this call. It's just like that now. And the overflow of love and support that I have received from a lot of y'all just on the strength of him warms my heart, because a lot of y'all know more about my father than I know. And y'all so open to teach me things that I have been missing all these years. So I sat down and still sit down at people's feet learning about him as an acupuncturist, him as a political leader, him as a mentor to at-risk youth, him as just a cool dude to hang out with, him as, connected to the hood, to the traps, that's a new day, the traps, where people hang out at, but back then they didn't use that name. But, you can catch them up in the staircase with the thugs and the gangsters and stuff like that, and I'm only saying that because I've had conversations with people that have true love with him that was like that. Yo, you could catch Mutulu up in the 40 projects, you could catch him up in the 80 project, you could catch him on 150th Street, he'd be outside type thing, So the element of Dr. Mutulu Shakur, I always look at him as a tree that has many branches, and for like things that I try to do, I feel that there's not enough hours in a day to do the things that I would like to do. But for him to build a legacy that he has built from the duration up until now, how did he have time to do all of that and be successful with it? So that's one of the things I can't wait for him to get out to teach me those things on how to manage my time to be able to be effective to our community, to help people, entrepreneurship. I'm already a family man, and just the overall genetics of being who we are. Like, again, I feel that, by me being raised without my biological father, it's like I was missing a lot of things. I don't take nothing from my mother at all. One of the things that Afeni taught me when I met her for the first time, she said, baby, I don't want you. No, first what she did, let me just give you a quick backstory. And it's going to be real quick, because I know we jacking for time. So what happened was, y'all probably heard of Antoine Fisher, the Antoine Fisher story, when he met his family for the first time in the house. So I had two of those moments, Antoine Fisher story. One was in California when I met Cetra, Moprim, the rest of the Shakur family, as well as Afeni. So when I met Afeni for the first time, we walked down to our home, and she was sitting on the couch. And when I came through the door, she stood up and she put both hands on my face, and then she brought me close to her, and she said, "Wow, you are one of ours." And she gave me a big hug. Me, my wife, gave me, my wife, and Citrus at that time. She gave me a big hug and told me to sit down. She said, "I want you to do me a favor." But before she said that, she went to a picture cabinet that she had, and she took out 2 pictures, and one was with her and Tupac, and one was with her, Tupac, and my sister Setra. She said, "I want you to keep these. These are yours," right? So I was blown away because these are the actual pictures that you may see surfing on the social media or Google or whatever.
I see them.
So, yeah, right. So she
them.
gave me the actual pictures, and that was an honor to me, and I really appreciate it. But what the eerie feeling is when she sat me down and she said, "I want you to do me a favor." I said, "Yeah, what you mean? What would you like for me to do, Mama Faye?" She said, "I want you to go home and I want you to tell your mother you love her and you forgive her." Now, mind you, this is the first time I ever seen a Fanny or heard her voice a day in my life. So I said, "Why would you ask me that?" Right? So she said, "Because your mother had to have been the strongest lady to keep you underneath the wraps all this time, because what was going on back then and going on now is total different atmospheres, you know. So if anything, this is the right time for you to be around, and the family truly needs you, you know, part of our family." And I said, "Wow." All this time I was, you know, had some type of envy, like, darn it. But of course, a man still feels some type of way being raised without a father, knowing that his father, because in my mind, I was saying, like, damn, why my father don't want to come check me? You know, why he don't want to play football with me? Why he don't want to, you know, hang out? Am I that type of a bad guy? The family that bad or whatever? But come to find out that that was not the case. The case is that my father was in captivity or underground at that time, and he couldn't get to me. So yeah. So I get my inner core differently after that, and I just started being more humble towards this situation. And yes, I did go home and tell my mother, you know, that I love her, and you know, I'm not upset at, you know, her decisions. But at the same time, I wish she would have told me when she, you know, a little bit later on. Because if I didn't ask her, I still probably wouldn't even know that he was my father. Because she probably wouldn't have said anything, you know? So that's the crazy thing right there. You know, she had no thoughts of telling me this. But I guess she said to herself that she wasn't going to lie to me, because if I asked, she would have told me. She didn't tell me that, but I'm just assuming, because it wasn't like she really hesitated to not really tell me. So, you know, I mean, once I asked, you know, so that's the actual connection of me finding out that the great man, Dr. Mutulu Shakur, is my biological father.
Wow, man, and I see that his work ethic made his way to you and Tupac. The way y'all get busy, the way y'all have that inspiration to do what you need to do regarding carrying on an idea. So, you know, his work is reflected on those who he taught, and I think that we need to all look at that and appreciate that, because without him, you don't have people like yourself and people like Tupac and so many others who understand the price of struggling for the liberation of our people and advancement of our people. So, you know, we're truly appreciative.
We definitely have to add Mopreem Shakur in that fold as well, because he's been doing tireless work, you know, in the communities, the music, producing, you know, he's still out there getting his grind on, as well as my sister, Setra Shakur, you know, sitting down at her feet and her teaching me so much of the her upbringing, because she was in the mix when all this was going down. And for her to be still standing strong, 10 toes down, chest strong, you know, and she's a female in this world, it's, you know, it sends chills to my body of conversations that I have to hold dear to my soul that she have conversated with me about. I mean, you will hear some of it when she do her part of the interview for the documentary, but it's just so much that she's been through that she is definitely victorious, and I am proud of her, and I'm proud to be her brother, you know, because it can't be hard to be a daughter of two political prisoners and political activist, and a sister of a great rapper, Tupac Shakur, you know. So she got broad shoulders like one of us, you know what I mean? She definitely.
Yeah, we gotta meet her. We gotta meet her, brother. We have to meet her.
Yeah. Oh man, she's a wonderful spirit, man. And I'll tell you right now, she's a no-nonsense type of lady too, man. So, you know, if you got your questions or you need to vibe with her, make sure your shit is right.
I can dig it.
Yeah,
one of the things that one of the things that we accept. I said one of the things that we accept is to be challenged by our people, you know. So when we have conversations and stuff like that, and we want to get the best out of each other, and I think that that's something that we always welcoming somebody to come on our platform and say, you know, no, this is how it should be done, or this is the direction where you need to be going. But I think that in order for us, I mean, the fact that we have this opportunity to talk to you and talk about to your fathers is very important, that we utilize our time productively, because there's a mountain of distractions, as Coltrane Shimaranga would say, are out there. And that's why we have to focus on our freedom fighters and getting them home. So if anybody want to donate or learn more about the work of your family, where should they go, brother?
Well, the drmutuluShakur.com or family and friends to Dr. Mutulu Shakur. There's a lot of frivolous sites out now to try to reap the benefits from, you know, what's going on right now. And I feel that's sad. I feel that's really wrong, because if you for a people, you're supposed to support the people and give them their just due, and at the same time your just due as well. My father tell you in a minute, like, yo, listen, let me get mine and you get yours as well. Don't just get yours and don't, you know, contribute where it's supposed to be going, you know. Unfortunately, I flipped a couple of tables, and I'm not proud to say it, but I had to, because I went to a couple of functions and they was really pushing my father's merchandise. And when I asked, they tell me that, oh yeah, it's going to this account and so forth, so on. So when I, you know, checked it out, it wasn't going up in there. So I politely asked, you know, listen, possibly y'all can pack this up, you know, like that. Then they started getting indignant. I'm like, hey, you know, one thing led to another. But I'm only saying that to say this. If you're going to do something for a cause, let it be for that cause. Because, again, take my father's situation out of it. When you do things, you got to have good principles and morals about yourself, and that's when you reap the benefits. Don't do it thinking that you're going to be slick and be like, okay, I'm going to do a campaign for this, and I'm just going to throw it in my pocket and nobody finds out about it. Yeah, there's a lot of times that nobody...
On that, we will give people a chance to pick up a pen if they didn't have a pen when you gave that righteous location the first time, you understand, so that the con men, you understand, don't have their way. So people pick up a pen and paper, and brother, repeat that righteous location where people can contact and send funds to the right place. Repeat that, please.
Family and friends of Mutulu Shakur. That's the website right there. When you go to that website, when you go to that website, any other donation tabs should be on that website there. If you go to anywhere else, yes. If you go to anywhere else, I can't guarantee that it'll be going to the right location. You know,
there ain't no scale. Hey,
right. Well, matter of fact, Frank knows the right locations as well, because they've been blessing. You know, donations been getting to the right hands. So, you know,
beautiful.
you can always, put down some of the links that you may know of.
Well, somebody gonna always be gaming out there, but but now folks got the righteous location, so they know where to go.
Absolutely, because we want them to see your face and everything right there. And I put it up there right now. I put donate at Mutulushakur.com. But that's the one I was having before.
And leave it there. So, that's right. Because it'll take you to another tab if need be. But that right there, Mutulushakur.com. Yeah, you can find what you need there.
You're right on.
Yeah, man. So I don't know how much more time you got. You know what I mean? You always welcome to stay as long as you want, but I know you said you had some preparations to do for something else that you had to do. I know you're a very busy brother, bro.
So real quick, how's the folks at the West End Masjid doing? And give them my salams.
I would do that, but I'm not over there on the West End of the Masjid, but I know individuals that are, but I definitely will give them the salam and let you know how your recovery is doing.
Oh yeah, I'm good, brother. I'm going home tomorrow.
I can see. For
I'm
real.
cool. I'm cool in the game.
They can't put out the fire like him.
That's right,
man. Trust me, I know the deal. I know the deal. And make sure you give Viola from
I got a doctor right here. Excuse me, we're doing a podcast. We'll be doing in a couple of minutes.
Nah, you more, we could do this again another time. Take care of your health, man. You don't have to put me on hold like
I believe I can fly.
Yeah,
I believe I can fly. I'm good.
I won't feel right continuing this known as a doctor there for you, man. Yo, we gonna link again. All right.
All right. So people, the enemy be telling a lot of lies. So we're glad we can get some truth to share with the masses of the people. And we'll be having an event for Mutulu, and hope you'll be in New York for that.
Well, to be honest with you, I won't be because I'm in Atlanta now, and the next step is to California.
Exactly.
So
but anyway, we having a homecoming. We having a homecoming celebration for Mutulu, and he is well loved in the city.
That's a blessing. We truly appreciate that. Truly appreciate that. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
yes, brothers. So keep us informed. Let us know what we can do on our end, and let's keep pushing, brother.
Keep pushing. I appreciate that. Make sure you give Viola and her whole team our love and appreciation. Okay.
Will do, brother.
All right.
The whole team here.
Keep pushing.
All right, peace, brother.
From the bottom, now we hear the whole team's here.
That's right.
Yeah, so there you have it from Dr. Mutulu Shakur's son. He gave us an update and a status of what was going on, and he clarified some misunderstandings. So, we're here to recognize our brother, our comrade, Dr. Mutulu Shakur, being granted parole. And our next step is for us to do what we need to do. So we ask that you hit like, please share with at least 10 people. This is a very monumental moment in our service to our people, right? Because our service is beyond what we do regularly when we engage people. It's things that we do on our personal time regarding our political views, regarding the freedom of our political prisoners. See, we have to struggle for that. We have to make that a reality. We see that Dr. Mutulu Shakur being granted parole is a part of that struggle. We understand that Sundiata Acoli, him coming home, was a part of that struggle, as well as Sekou Odinga coming home. That was a part of the struggle. We got some more work to do. And this work can't be done by a few individuals. It had to be done by more. And those individuals who are doing the work have to make others conscious. And that's why me and my brother Abdul Haq Islam made that commitment to commit ourselves to doing this podcast every Wednesday for half an hour. We say it gives some time to a political prisoner because they're doing a bunch of time for you. Now, I was just reading the final call. The final call says something that was very interesting. It was a quotation at the end of the article on Dr. Mutulu Shakur. And it said that our fight to free our political prisoners has to be as fierce as those who hold our political prisoners captive. So we have to really internalize that quote, because it's very important that we get busy. It's very important that we understand the severity in which we need to deal with this situation, because when they release our political prisoners, they want them to be barely alive. They want to set an example, and we cannot accept that or have that. And I think that, you know, if more of us get involved, then our chance or our chance to free our political prisoner increases, right? Because when we look at the struggle for change, concrete change, that is, we looking at establishing momentum. Every time we put out a podcast episode, we establish momentum. Every time we on the street talking about an issue that's relevant to our people's advancement, we establish momentum. And every time we get somebody to have an interest in that momentum, then that's accelerated momentum. And that accelerated momentum brings that desired outcome that we want to happen. And I think that people need to understand the importance of Dr. Mutulu Shakur being granted parole. This is our 3rd episode on that issue alone. We have not forgot our other political prisoners. That's why in the introduction, you see the pictures of our political prisoners, but we're reserving this time because of Dr. Mutulu Shakur being granted parole. And we want to give a lot of attention to him. We want to celebrate that people's victory. And we want to do that in a way where the news is new, right? And we want to keep it fresh in the minds of people. And that's why we're continuously having this discussion on the brother, because we want to bring him home. Brother Abdul Haq Islam, what can you say to the people regarding his victory? And what can you say to the people regarding the historic interview we just had?
Well, I would say that the enemy tells a whole lot of lies. One of the big lies that they tell is about our political prisoners and prisoners of war, you know, those who fought for our rights, you know, those who stood up for us, great heroes in our communities, you know. And we're glad we just had the interview with a first-hand witness, you understand, to the life and works, you know, a family member, you understand, to tell some truths, you know, so let that truth shine like sunshine, you understand, to save our lives, to liberate our nation. You know, our political prisoners worked for our human rights. So when you work for political prisoners, you are fighting for your human rights. So Mutulu is coming home, and we need to bring them all home. What's it called?
Free them all. That's right. We're going to free them all. But we have to struggle to free them all, right? We have to invite others to come and be a part of this work on any level that they can do it, right? We say that we tell people to hit like, share with 10 people. Make sure you subscribe to our page, right? Make sure you subscribe to our channel or YouTube channel, NEPPC. Get others involved. Continue to spread the word. Take a position when it comes to political prisoners. Say these are freedom fighters. They deserve to be home with their family. These are not terrorists, as the state would like to say. And let's internalize the ideas that former political prisoners have, which is the state does not free political prisoners, the people do. Let's think about the quotation that was at that article in the final call. If you haven't read that article, it's a very important, powerful article. Any article that's written by our people and talking about our freedom fighters being released from prison, we need to look at, because they are controlling our narrative. Our narrative is that this is a possibility. If one came home, many can come home, but it's our responsibility and our duty. So what's the call?
Free them all.
What's the call?
Free them all.
That's